Hey, what's up guys, Ben here, welcome to another video on my channel FilmFanatic, and today we are counting down the top 5 best Jim Carrey movies. I should probably stress this is my own personal list. This is not a list through how much the film's made or how many awards it won or anything. This is what I feel are his best performances. So let's start off our countdown with number 5. So number 5 on my list is The Truman Show. So first on my list is The Truman Show, which follows Jim Carrey, a man who is picked as a baby to be the star of a new hit TV show called The Truman Show. All his life, everybody in the whole entire world has watched Truman grow up. It is the biggest show on television, but it's all fake and he doesn't even know it. Raised in a world surrounded by sets and actors, Truman has no idea that his whole life is a lie and everything that happens to him is choreographed and planned. So we meet Truman right in the middle of the show's success and he starts to see the world crumble around him. He starts to see by some of the actors and actresses he sees through some of the sets, and he starts to realise all these weird patterns, this choreographed life that he leads, and he ends up discovering that it's a TV show. He then fights against the power to escape this massive set and go into the real world. Now, I know the movie's not necessarily a comedy, it's still a fantastic performance by Jim Carrey. Although it's not necessarily a comedy, it still has its funny moments. Jim Carrey brings his usual flamboyant and very witty sense of humour to the role. It just adds a whole new layer to it, which makes this drama a little bit funny as well. Now, although the movie didn't necessarily make a lot of money in the box office, it's still referred to as a cult classic within the Jim Carrey fan base, and I have to agree with them. Moving on to number 4 on the list, and it's probably one of the most famous Jim Carrey movies, and it is of course Bruce Almighty. Bruce has been complaining about God, saying he's been picking on him his whole life, and so God appears in the form of Morgan Freeman and says, "Oh, if you think it's so easy being God, why don't you try?" And he gives him all of his abilities, which he uses to his own advantage. He uses it to be wealthy, he uses it to be famous, he uses it to be successful in his job, but eventually it all comes crumbling down and he sees that having the powers of God is not all it's cracked up to be. Here to give her professional opinion on the film, please welcome famed movie reviewer, Babushka. So Alice, what would you say is the best part about Jim Carrey's performance in Bruce Almighty?
I like the bit with the moon.
Could you describe that to the audience?
No.
Okay, well, it's been great. Thanks a lot for coming. Do you wanna have a flying saucer? I don't know if you guys have ever had these flying saucers. I don't know if you guys have ever tried these flying saucers. They're really good. You should probably try. Okay. Bye. Bye, Babush. Bruce Almighty was one of the more famous Jim Carrey movies. In fact, it spawned a sequel called Evan Almighty, which follows Jim Carrey's friend in the movie, but it was terrible. I have mentioned it in a video beforehand. It's called my, what was it? It was like my sequels and remakes failures videos. I can't even remember. I'll leave a link to it in the description. I mentioned it there. But this movie was so funny. Jim Carrey brought so much to his role. Again, that flamboyant comedy, although he was getting a little bit more range than this than he was in The Truman Show. This one was a flat out comedy and it was fantastic and definitely one of his best. Moving on to number 3, and it's probably the most quotable Jim Carrey movie there is. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. Ace Ventura, Pet Detective follows Ace Ventura, a pet detective. Jim Carrey's character started out as a policeman, although he didn't really feel it and he felt more of a connection with animals, and so he becomes the world's first pet detective. If you have any missing animals or any cases that involve animals, you call this guy because he knows literally everything there is to know. And he's called in by an American football team whose mascot, a dolphin, has been stolen. Up to him to track it down and figure out who it is, and it involves a whole mystery, but again, it's just Jim Carrey at his comedic best. 100 times more range than Bruce Almighty and The Truman Show combined, Jim Carrey goes absolutely off the rails, and it was reported that the majority of the comedy was improvised. I said it's very quotable, like the classic "alrighty then," where he talks out of his ass, literally, and of course the soundproof door. There's so many moments in this movie that are absolutely fantastic, but this movie is the pinnacle of Jim Carrey's success. Moving on to number 2 on our list, and it is weirdly a drama. The Truman Show was a drama, but it is weird still to see Jim Carrey in dramatic movies, as he's so well known for his comedy, but this one probably is the moment where people discovered he can actually act. As of course, The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, this movie follows a couple undergoing serious relationship issues, and so they undergo a procedure to have each other erased from their memories. After loss of each other, they realise just how much they need each other. And the movie follows them basically trying to rekindle that relationship after forgetting each other. Like I said, this movie is probably the pinnacle of Jim Carrey's acting career. It shows that he can actually act. He's not just a comedian, he can genuinely act. Alongside superstar Kate Winslet, there was a lot of pressure on Jim Carrey to do well, and he definitely delivered. It may not be the most successful and well-known Jim Carrey movie. It is given an 8.4 rating out of 10 by Rotten Tomatoes, which is a fantastic thing, especially for a Jim Carrey movie, and especially it was a drama. But critics everywhere loved it. Every Jim Carrey fan loved it because they knew that their favourite actor could definitely act. Moving on to the top of my list, number 1, and if you haven't seen it on the list already, you probably already know what it is, and it is of course The Mask. Definitely the best comedic movie Jim Carrey's ever done. He's literally given the power to do anything. A banker with not much of a social life and not much success with the ladies, this man finds a mask, and when he puts it on, he's given full range of godlike powers. Donning a green face and a yellow suit, Jim Carrey, like anything and do anything, fits Jim Carrey perfectly as he runs about in this green mask, absolutely causing havoc, but getting all the ladies. Town sees the power of this mask, he wants it, he steals it, and he ends up becoming the evil mask, leaving it to normal Jim Carrey to save the day and get his mask back. And of course, win the girl. Movie, I'm pretty sure the majority of it was improvised because I don't think you could write that kind of stuff. Extremely quotable movie. He does of course impersonate Sally Fields. There's so many great moments in the movie that just add up to Jim Carrey's unwielding success. Jim Carrey movies be, guys? Let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know if you agree or disagree with my list. Go ahead and hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and you want to see more like it on my channel, and don't forget to hit subscribe down below to never miss a video on this channel. And I'll see you next time, guys. Take care.